Do you think it's worth it for a realtor to do a podcast? I do. I got exposed to $100 million opportunity as a result. So stay tuned if you like stuff like this. Subscribe below and let's have a conversation. So I started my podcast, I think, around early last year, maybe even the year before. I don't even remember. And every Wednesday, I consistently do my podcast. So I have a team that finds me hosts that I can interview. I also have my own. There's different people out there. I'm like, wow, they're really incredible. I want to interview them. What's the mission of my podcast? Because different podcasts have different missions, right? Mine is called Real Estate Riches. That's what you're on right now. And its mission is to help realtors learn from other realtors how we do it. I share tips, they share tips. And my agenda is to find agents that have succeeded, not your part-time agents. I'm looking for the ones that really can give value for you and me to learn from, right? How did I get 100 million opportunity? Well, I was interviewing this gal. She's a luxury agent out of Maryland. And I could tell. I don't know how old she is, but she's a seasoned agent, luxury agent, top producer in her KW office. And I said, hey, girl, you look like you're not only the top producer of your team, you look like you're the top producer of the office. Is that right? And she goes, yeah. And I said, do you specialize in luxury? She says, yeah. I said, is that just in your area or do you do global? Because when I was on your website, it looked like you did global too. She goes, I do global, girl, as well as local. Now, she spoke 5 languages. What? How do you even keep track in your head? And then she was also a TED Talk speaker. That was really impressive. Raised in, what did she tell me? Raised in Bangladesh, went to school in London. That's where she learned English. So she's got a very diverse background. And where she's at in Maryland, it also has a diverse incoming population in there so that she helps them find a home that relates to where they're from. She makes them feel at home within their new home. Isn't that cool? I love that about her. So that's a little nugget right there. Do that for your clients. So before I actually push record on these videos, we have a little conversation where we get to know each other beforehand, which is great. So we were talking and I was asking her all those questions about her business and she's on a team and how she did the global and blah, blah, blah. And she says, Kath, I think you're somebody that I can share this with. She goes, I am part owner in a bank that does minimum $100 million loans for people who need to get that kind of money. Well, that's a pretty rare kind of bank. And it's based out of Irvine, California. And they have huge investors with money that they call like dry powder, which I had never heard that term before. But that just means they got a ton of money and they'd like to invest it and get it working for itself. And so I said, wow, that's pretty amazing. She goes, yeah, just put it out there. You never know who you're going to run into who may be interested in something like that. And I thought, yeah, I'm going to tell everybody because she told me that I could make a commission by bringing her people like that. Well, that's intriguing too, because all I am doing there is being a connector. And it's a commercial loan. So it has nothing to do with my real estate license. I did double check with my attorney and my CPA to find out, is that okay to do? I don't want to jeopardize my license. And I said, yeah, you can do that. I said, great. So I started talking right away and I'm introducing it to a gal in Portugal that I knew who worked with developers. She was interested. I shared it with a friend of mine in Italy who was working with developers in many countries. He ended up putting me on a quick WhatsApp call to someone in India who's very interested in it. And on and on and on. This morning, I woke up to a call from a woman in Portugal who works with developers. She's got a $65 million listing there that is an incredible opportunity for developers. And I had mentioned it to her when I met her in Miami. And so this morning she goes, Kath, I'm interested in that. I've got somebody who's very interested in it. And I said, great, let's set up a Zoom. So that's back to the beginning. Why are podcasts good for realtors? I got to tell you, the connections that I have made since I've been doing my podcast are incredible. I'm invited to be on other people's podcasts. That's great. That pushes me. Every single person that I invite on my podcast, I want their headshot. I want all their contact information. I follow them and connect with them on everything that they're doing socially. I ask them to do the same with me. And then when I get the data back, like the video and some of the little social media pieces, I always tag them as well. And I ask them when we give it to them, please tag me. That expands our database for our reach for both of us. It's been incredible. So that's why podcasts, they're not a big deal. I'm sitting here right in front of my own Zoom camera. I've got a little camera that I've got on my PC. I've got some bright lights that shine on me, and I put a background back there, and basically I am just shooting a video based on different subjects that I know are important to realtors. And the podcast that I do, that is where I work with a team, and they help me, as I said, with some of the people that I invite on, but they're also the ones that do the editing. I don't do the editing. I just send them a raw copy of this video, and then they go and they chop it all up and they disperse it for me and they create the content. But my point to you is, it's always about connecting in real estate. Is podcast a popular way to do it? Yes. Will you stay committed to it? I hope so, because otherwise you're completely wasting your time. Will you take advantage of the people that you connect with? What will your mission be on your podcast? If you're with EXP, we have a thing here called KGCI Radio, and every one of our podcasts are on that radio, which plays 24/7. So I get notoriety there. It's on every single one of the podcast channels, and I have it on my YouTube channel. This is powerful stuff. I set up Wednesdays as my recording days. I do little videos like this, and then in the afternoon I do my podcast. I'm time managing that to be effective, and you can too. So, are podcasts worth it? You tell me. Tell me in the comments. Really be nice to talk to somebody. Let's have some feedback about it. Did you try it? Did it succeed? Did it fail? Did you quit? Did you get great results? Love to hear that. And let's just talk about it. And if you like this kind of stuff, please subscribe, share it with your buddies, and I'll see you in the next one.